Chapter 3. Bravo, Mr. Harris. Well done. LES, gentlemen. Never forget. Location, elevation, situation. That's the only way you'll remember your jaunt coordinates. Etre entre le motu et le plume. French. English translation will not follow. Don't jaunt yet, Mr. Peters. Wait your turn. Be patient. You'll all be C-class by and by. Has anyone seen Mr. Foyle? He's missing. Oh, look at that heavenly brown thrasher. Listen to him, Mozart on the wing. Oh dear, I'm thinking all over the place. Or have I been speaking, gentlemen? Half and half, man. It does seem unfair. One-way telepathy is a nuisance. I do apologize for chaperoning you with my thoughts. Well, we like it, ma'am. You think pretty. How sweet of you, Mr. George. All right, class. All back to school and we'll start again. Has Mr. Foyle jaunted already? I can never keep track of him. Robin Winsberry was conducting her re-education class in jaunting on his tour through New York City, and it was exciting a business for the cerebral cases as it was for the children in her primer class. She treated the adults like children, and they rather enjoyed it. For the past month, they had been memorizing jaunt stages at the street intersections, chanting, LES, ma'am, location, elevation, situation. She was a tall, lovely Negro girl, brilliant and cultivated, but handicapped by the fact that she was a telesend, a one-way telepath. She could broadcast her thoughts to the world, but could receive nothing. This was a disadvantage that barred her from more glamorous careers, yet suited her for teaching. Despite her volatile temperament, Robin Winsberry was a thorough and methodical jaunt instructor. The men were brought down from General War Hospital to the jaunt school, which occupied an entire building in the Hudson Bridge at 42nd Street. They started from the school and marched a sedate crocodile to the vast Times Square jaunt stage, which they earnestly memorized. Then they all jaunted back to the school and back to Times Square. The crocodile reformed, and they marched up to Columbus Circle and memorized its coordinates. Then all jaunted back to school via Times Square and returned by the same route to Columbus Circle. Once more the crocodile formed, and off they went to Grand Army Plaza to repeat the memorizing and the jaunting. Robin was re-educating the patients, all head injuries who had lost the power to jaunt, to the express stops, so to speak, of the public jaunt stages. Later they would memorize the local stops at street intersections. As their horizons expanded, and their powers returned, they would memorize jaunt stages in widening circles, limited as much by income as ability, for one thing was certain. You had to actually see a place to memorize it, which meant you first had to pay for the transportation to get you there. Even 3D photographs would not do the trick. The grand tour had taken on a new significance for the rich. Location, elevation, situation, Robin Winsberry lectured, and the class jaunted by express stages from Washington Heights to the Hudson Bridge and back again in primer jumps of a quarter-mile each, following their lovely Negro teacher earnestly. The little tech sergeant with a platinum skull suddenly spoke in the gutter tongue. But there ain't no elevation, ma'am. We're on the ground, us. Isn't, Sergeant Logan. Isn't any would be better. I beg your pardon. Teaching becomes a habit, and I'm having trouble controlling my thinking today. The war news is so bad. We'll get to elevation when we start memorizing the stages on top of the skyscrapers, Sergeant Logan. The man with the rebuilt skull digested that, then asked, We hear you when you think. Is a matter you? Exactly. But you don't hear us. Never. I'm a one-way telepath. We all hear you, or just I is all? That depends, Sergeant Logan. When I'm concentrating, just the one I'm thinking at. When I'm at loose ends, anybody and everybody. Poor souls, excuse me. Robin turned and called, Don't hesitate before jaunting, Chief Harris. That starts doubting, and doubting ends jaunting. Just step up and bang off. I worry sometimes, ma'am, a chief petty officer with a tightly bandaged head answered. He was obviously stalling at the edges of the jaunt stage. Worry? About what? Maybe there's going to be somebody standing where I arrive. Then there'll be a real hell of a bang, ma'am. Excuse me. Now, I've explained that 100 times. Experts have gauged every jaunt stage in the world to accommodate peak traffic. That's why private jaunt stages are small, and the Times Square stage is 200 yards wide. It's all been worked out mathematically, and there isn't one chance in 10 million of simultaneous arrival. That's less than the near chance of being killed in a jet accident. The bandaged CPO nodded dubiously and stepped up on the raised stage. It was of white concrete, round and decorated on its face, with vivid black and white patterns as an aid to memory. In the center was an illuminated plaque which gave its name and jaunt coordinates of latitude, longitude, and elevation. At the moment when the bandaged man was gathering courage for his primer jaunt, the stage began to flicker with a sudden flurry of arrivals and departures. Figures appeared momentarily as they jaunted in, hesitated while they checked their surroundings, and set new coordinates, and then disappeared as they jaunted off. At each disappearance, there was a faint pop as displaced air rushed into the space formerly occupied by the body. "Oh, wait, class," Robin called. "There's a rush on. Everybody off the stage, please." Laborers in heavy work clothes, still spattered with snow, were on their way south to their homes after a shift in the North Woods. 50 white-clad dairy clerks were headed west toward St. Louis. They followed the morning from the Eastern Time Zone to the Pacific Zone, and from Eastern Greenland, where it was already noon, a horde of white-collar office workers were pouring into New York for their lunch hour. The rush was over in a few moments. "All right, class," Robin called. "We'll continue. Oh dear, where is Mr. Foyle? He always seems to be missing." "With a face like he's got him, you can't blame him for hiding it, ma'am. Up in the cerebral ward, we call him Boogie." "He does look dreadful, doesn't he, Sergeant Logan? Can't they get those marks off?" "Well, they're trying, Miss Robin, but they don't know how yet. It's called tattooing, and it's sort of forgotten is all." "Then how did Mr. Foyle acquire his face?" "Well, nobody knows, Miss Robin. He's up in cerebral ward because he's lost his mind, him. Can't remember nothing. Me, personal, if I had a face like that, I wouldn't want to remember nothing, too." "Well, it's a pity. He looks frightful. Sergeant Logan, do you suppose I've let a thought about Mr. Foyle slip and hurt his feelings?" The little man with a platinum skull considered. "Well, no, ma'am. You wouldn't hurt nobody's feelings, you. And Foyle ain't got none to hurt him. He's just a big dumb ox is all." "I have to be so careful, Sergeant Logan. You see, no one likes to know what another person really thinks about him. We imagine that we do, but we don't. This telesending of mine makes me loathed and loathsome. Please don't listen to me. I'm having trouble controlling my thinking." "Oh, there you are, Mr. Foyle. Where in the world have you been wandering?" Foyle had jaunted in on the stage and stepped off quietly, his hideous face averted. "Been practicing, May," he mumbled. Robin repressed the shudder of revulsion in her and went to him sympathetically. She took his arm. "You really should be with us more. We're all friends and having a lovely time. Join in." Foyle refused to meet her glance. As he pulled his arm away from her sullenly, Robin suddenly realized that his sleeve was soaking wet. His entire hospital uniform was drenched. Wet? He's been in the rain somewhere. But I've seen the morning weather reports. No rain east of St. Louis. Then he must have jaunted further than that. But he's not supposed to be able. He's supposed to have lost all memory and ability to jaunt. He's malingering.
Foyle leapt at her. "Shut up, you!" The savagery of his face was terrifying.
"Then you are malingering."
"How much you know?"
"That you're a fool. Stop making a scene."
"Did they hear you?"
"I don't know. Let go of me." Robin turned away from Foyle. "All right, class. We finished for the day. All back to the school for the hospital bus. You jaunt first, Sergeant Logan. Remember, LES. Location, elevation,
"What you want?" Foyle growled. "I'll pay off you."
Be quiet. Stop making a scene. Now don't hesitate, Chief Harris. Step up and jaunt off."
"I want to talk to you."
"Certainly not. Wait your turn. Wait your turn, Mr. Peters. Don't be in such a hurry."
"You gonna report me to the hospital?"
"Naturally."
"I want to talk to you."
"No."
"They're gone now, all. We got time. I'll meet you in your apartment."
"My apartment?" Robin was genuinely frightened.
"In Green Bay, Wisconsin."
"This is absurd. We got nothing to discuss with this."
You got plenty, Miss Robin. You got a family to discuss.
Foyle grinned at the terror she radiated.
Meet you in your apartment, he repeated.
You can't possibly know where it is, she faltered.
I just told you, didn't I?
You couldn't possibly jaunt that far.
No,
The mask grinned.
you just told me I was that word. You told the truth, you. We got half an hour. Meet you there.
Robin Winsbury apartment was in a massive building set alone on the shore of Green Bay. The apartment house looked as though a magician had removed it from a city residential area and abandoned it amidst the Wisconsin pines. Buildings like this were commonplace in the jaunting world. With self-contained heat and light plants and jaunting to solve the transportation problem, single and multiple dwellings were built in desert, forests, and wilderness. The apartment itself was a 4-room flat, heavily insulated to protect neighbors from Robin's telesending. It was crammed with books, music, paintings, and prints, all evidence of the cultured and lonely life of this unfortunate wrong-way telepath. Robin jaunted into the living room of the apartment a few seconds after Foyle, who was waiting for her with ferocious impatience.
So now you know for sure,
He began, without preamble. He seized her right arm in a painful grip.
But you ain't gonna tell nobody in the hospital about me, Miss Robin. Nobody.
Let go of me! Robin lashed him across the face. Beast! Savage! Don't you dare touch me! Foyle released her and stepped back. The impact of her revulsion made him turn away angrily to conceal his face. So you've been malingering. You knew how to jaunt. You've been jaunting all the while you've been pretending to learn in the primer class. Taking big jumps around the country. Around the world, for all I know.
Yeah. I got from Times Square to Columbus Circle by way of, well, most anywhere, Miss Robin.
And that's why you're always missing? But why? Why? What are you up to? An expression of possessed cunning appeared on the hideous face.
I'm holed up in General Hospital, May. It's my base of operations, see? I'm settling something, Miss Robin. I got a debt to pay off, May. I had to find out where a certain ship is. Now I gotta pay it back. Now I rot you, Volga. I kill you, Volga. I kill you, filthy.
He stopped shouting and glared at her in wild triumph. Robin backed away in alarm. For God's sake, what are you talking about?
Volga. Volga T1339. Ever heard of her, Miss Robin? I found out where she is from Bonus and UIG's ship registry. Bonus and UIG are out of San Fran. I went there, May. The time when you was learning us the crosstown jaunt stasis. Went out to San Fran, May. Found Volga, May. She's in Vancouver shipyards. She owned by Prestigian of Prestigian. Heard of him, Miss Robin? Prestigian's the biggest man on terror is all. But he won't stop me. I'll kill Volga filthy. And you won't stop me either, Miss Robin.
Foyle thrust his face close to hers.
Because I cover myself, Miss Robin. I cover every weak spot down the line. I got something on everybody who stopped me before I kill Volga. Including you, Miss Robin.
No.
Yeah. I found out where you live. They know up the hospital. I come here and look round. I'll read your diary, Miss Robin. You got a family on Callisto. Mother and 2 sisters.
For God's sake.
So that makes you alien, belligerent. When the war started, you and all the rest was given 1 month to get out of the inner planets and go home. Any which didn't became spies.
Foyle opened his hand.
I got you right here, girl.
He clenched his hand. My mother and sisters have been trying to leave Callisto for 1.5 years. We belong here, we...
Got you right here,
Foyle repeated.
You know what they do to spies? They cut information out of them. They cut you apart, Miss Robin. They take you apart, piece by piece.
Robin screamed. Foyle nodded happily and took her shaking shoulders in his hand.
I got you is all, girl. You can't even run for me because all I gotta do is tip intelligence. And where are you? There ain't nothing nobody can do to stop me. Not the hospital, or even Mr. Holy Minded Prestigian of Prestigian.
Get out! Get out, you filthy, hideous thing! Get out!
You don't like my face, Miss Robin? There ain't nothing you can do about that either.
Suddenly, he picked her up and carried her to a deep couch. He threw her down on the couch.
Nothing, he repeated.